Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. So let's say that you happen to purchase succulents from nursery. Now ideally I have made a video on how to take care of succulents post transit. I have already made a video on it. If you have not checked that video, I will put the link in the description below. You can check it out, because a lot of times we tend to purchase succulents online because they are not readily available at the local nursery. But let's say that you go to a local nursery and you happen to find a succulent that you really like and you have purchased and you have bought it home. Now what's the next step is you will have to repot. Now again, it's not compulsory that you have to repot the same day. You can even wait for 2 or 3 days or probably a week or so. It's absolutely okay. Because it's very important that you have to let the soil dry before you uproot the succulent. Now over here, I don't purchase succulents from nursery because I don't have anything available in my local nursery, so I always purchase online. So for this video, I have just made it as an example. So now let's say that this is how your succulent will look like. Now this is a Crassula red pagoda. Let's say that you have purchased this and now you want to repot it, because a lot of times the soil mix that the nursery people tend to use is completely made out of coco peat and a little bit of soil. So we do not want our succulents to be growing in that for a longer period of time, because it's not good in the long run. So now let's say that you are taking out the succulent from the pot. You will definitely have a lot of healthy roots, because of course the succulent is not going to immediately die if it's going to be in coco peat. It can survive for a long period of time, but the only thing is that it's not good in the long run. Now let's say that you have taken out the succulent. Now what you can do is you can either leave it out on a dry surface for a day or so, because a lot of times if there is any moisture, the soil is going to be stuck to the root, because we want to clear off all of that coco peat from the root area. We do not want any kind of coco peat sticking to the roots. So you can just leave it out on the tray for a day or so. So once that coco peat is dried, you can just gently clean it off with a brush. Now this is little difficult because it's little moist, but once you tend to dry it for a day, the coco peat will easily come out from the roots. Now remember, you do not need to use water to wash off the roots. Please don't do that, because in case if there are any cuts, or let's say when you were taking out the succulent from the pot, you happen to break any leaf, that is going to have an open cut. So if you're going to add water, then there could be a risk of the succulent getting rotted. So we do not want to wash the roots. You can just brush it off. And over here, as you can see, we have brushed off majority of that coco peat from the roots. So it's very simple, because I do see a lot of people washing their succulents. It's not necessary. In fact, it could be very risky to do so. So now, as you can see, we have completely removed all of the coco peat from the root area. Now the roots are very fresh. Probably if there is a little bit, it's absolutely okay. That is not much of an issue. So this is only for people who tend to buy their succulents from nursery. Online, of course, you're not going to get any soil with the succulent. And now we have our regular potting mix, which is 80% of aquarium sand and 20% of filtered garden soil. So now all we have to do is, the soil has to be completely bone dry when you are repotting it. So now we will just gently push the roots into the soil. Ensure that all of the roots are inside, and then just cover it up. And if you feel that there is any dust, you can just clean it off with a soft bristle makeup brush. The brush has to be really soft, and we will just clean it up. Now initially the succulent, of course, is going to be very unstable. It's going to move around a lot because we have just planted it. But probably in a month's time, the succulent is going to be very stiff in the soil once the roots tend to anchor into the soil. Once the roots mature and they become a little bit more stronger, the succulent will be very difficult to move around. Right now it's going to be a little unstable. Now whenever you purchase succulents, you might also tend to see a lot of pups. Like this one had a lot of pups beneath, as you can see. Please do not pull them out. Let them stay with the mother plant. We do not want to pull them out right now. One, because the succulent has just come in. We want to give a little bit of time for the succulent to adjust and settle down. Apart from that, those pups are very, very small. Taking them out at an early stage will definitely damage them. So we just want to leave them as it is. As and when it tends to grow, probably whenever this one tends to grow, and if I'm going to separate it, I'll definitely make a video on it. But for this video, this is all about it. You have to just plant it in dry soil and wait. Now definitely this succulent, most of the succulents that you're going to purchase from the nursery are going to be well hydrated, so we do not need to be worried. You can do a visual check. If you tend to see there are no wrinkles present on it, you can water it after a week or so. But if you tend to see that there are some wrinkles on it, probably you can water after 5 days. That's absolutely fine. Now the watering, again, you can do any method. I'm not going to be watering it right now because we have just repotted it. Now either you can take this container and put it in another tray, give it bottom watering, or you can water it from above in a circular motion, ensuring that you do not drop water on the succulent leaves. But again, the watering has to be done after either 5 days or after a week. Let the succulent settle down. Talking about the light requirement, this succulent has to be kept in indirect bright light at least for a week or so. Do not expose it to direct sunlight. And let's say after 2 weeks you want to put it out in morning direct sunlight, so then you can do a slow introduction to morning direct sunlight. But at least up to a week, keep it in indirect but bright light. Talking about fertilizers, please do not add any fertilizers to your newly potted succulent, even though crassulas are getting into their growing period right now during the winters. But please do not add fertilizers. You can add if you want to add, because it's not compulsory that you have to add fertilizers. But in case if you want to add fertilizers, do it after 2 months. Do not do it immediately, because that is going to again hamper and damage the succulent's growth. So that's all about it, guys. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.